All praises to the PlayStation. Yeah!
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 2 of the Praise PlayStation podcast. Today is Wednesday, September 6, 2017. I am your host, Nicholas Ryan. Hope you all had a good Labor Day long weekend, got some gaming in, I know I did. Been putting some more time into everybody's golf. I kind of have the same thoughts as before. It's super charming. I love the RPG elements they've added in. One cool touch is every club you have actually levels up individually from all the other clubs. I feel like that kind of coincides well with real golf, where you have some clubs you're good with, some clubs you're not so good with, and kind of add some bit of a strategic layer there. Well, maybe the yardage is perfect for this club, but my stats are better with this one. So I think it's a cool touch. Tried some of the online stuff on it. The shared courses are pretty cool. Everyone kind of plays at the same time. You can see people playing in the background. You get to drive from tee to tee with your golf cart. Yes, there's actually golf carts. It's good fun. I still think the progression is a little slow. I put in 4 to 6 hours and I've only unlocked 2 courses. They have little modifiers and such as long tees, mirroring the course, different pin locations that kind of make it a little less repetitive when you're playing the same courses over and over again. But I don't know if it's enough. Maybe for people new to the series, it's a better way to introduce them, but I've played quite a bit of Hot Shots and I feel like it's a little slow. That being said, I am still enjoying myself for sure. I've heard some rumors that the end game can get a little pay to win. I guess there's some high level clubs that you have to get gems to maintain. So you can either find those gems or win those gems, or you can buy them with real money. I'm not really into the whole microtransaction things, but I can't comment too much just because I haven't got to that point yet. Putting a couple hours into Destiny 2 this morning. We'll come back to this as this is our topic of the show today. In news, Sony's bringing back the translucent DualShock, so for the first time we'll be able to get those clear DualShock 4s. These were actually some of my favorite controllers back in the PS2 days, so hello nostalgia, I'm glad they're coming back. They come out later this month, so you get the white crystal at GameStop or EB in Canada. A blue model is available exclusively at Walmart, and a red one exclusively at Best Buy. They're going to launch at the same price as the current DualShock 4, which I think actually is a little high. I think this far into the PS4's life cycle, they would be able to drop the price a little bit. Up in Canada here, they go for like $75. It's quite high. I love the DualShock 4. I think it's a great controller, other than the battery life being kind of meh. But I just feel like the price is a little high. Maybe that's coming. Capcom has announced that Dead Rising 4, Frank's Big Package, is coming out December 5th. So Dead Rising 4 launched on PC and the Xbox One. This is the first time it'll be on PS4. So it's launching at $49.99 US, $59 Canadian. Comes with all DLC and updates, as well as a costume pack that kind of gives you some special moves. Dead Rising series is kind of some silly zombie slaying, beat 'em up fun. This one's sitting at a 72 on Metacritic, so a little lower than some of the other ones. But if you're into the whole Japanese style kind of humor, it might be worth a look. Atlas has teased Catherine 2, although it hasn't been officially announced. Atlas held a Golden Recruitment special program live stream to recruit talent for its new team called Studio Zero. I guess the stream featured some music from Catherine, as well as an appearance from the host of Catherine asking about her next job. So Catherine was a well-received puzzle game that also tackled some very adult topics like infidelity and relationships in a sort of visual novel format. Puzzle games aren't necessarily my thing, but I'm always happy to see games kind of tackle some topics like that. I think it's important to move our medium forward. So that's about it for news this week, guys. For both my pick of the week as well as the topic of the show this week, we're going to talk about Destiny 2. I put in a few hours this morning, and if you like the first Destiny, you'll definitely like this. I kind of had a love-hate relationship with the first one, as I think a lot of people did. That being said, I got about 100 hours of gameplay out of it, if not more, so I can't really complain too much. I know that's rookie numbers compared to a lot of people out there. But anytime I get that kind of time out of a game, clearly I enjoyed it enough. The first Destiny was kind of simultaneously amazing and disappointing to me. You had this mechanically excellent shooter that really doesn't feel like anything else out there. Bungie did a wonderful job with. It's hard to put it into words, but it's just a very crisp, smooth, weighty feeling shooter. They do a really good job giving you feedback, visual feedback, audio feedback, to just make the shooting super satisfying. That being said, kind of everything around the shooting mechanics, everything other than the shooting mechanics was quite weak. There was hardly any narrative to speak of. The game was lacking content a lot at launch, leading to a lot of just grinding the same content over and over and over again. If it wasn't for the quality of the shooting mechanics itself, I think the game would have died off a lot quicker. The DLC and the expansions, particularly the Taken King expansion, did a good job with actually adding a narrative to the game as well as more content, so you weren't just grinding the same stuff over and over. It definitely came a long way from its start, and I did enjoy the time I spent with it. Just when you look back at all the promises that Bungie made, it can be quite frustrating to think of how good the game could have been with kind of some more meat on top of those that excellent shooting mechanics. Kind of the best thing I can say so far about Destiny 2 is it has some life to it. It has kind of a heart and passion that really wasn't there in the first game. First game was very dry and mechanical, whereas the second game, at least the couple of hours I put in at the start, actually has like a narrative, and the missions I've done kind of have real pacing to them. You're not just walking through and just shooting everything. There's kind of highs, there's lows. There's a moment early on where you just kind of walk through the environment and kind of just watch everything around you. I won't get too deep into spoilers here, but it's a moment that's created strictly for atmosphere and story, and I feel like the very first Destiny didn't really have any of that. It was just strictly go here, shoot this, defend this position, shoot this. And this one, even the side missions in this one, the missions seem to have a lot more personality to it, where instead of just going somewhere and having your ghost kind of robotically talk to you here and there, there's other characters you actually physically run into and interact with instead of just radio communicating, which goes a long ways in actually establishing these characters. There's actually a real villain this time who's introduced early on. Instead of just fighting against kind of a generic thing called the Darkness, there is a proper villain who has his own motivations. And they did a great job introducing him. I want to kind of get to know more about him. It's kind of the little things that go a long ways here. The musical score is absolutely incredible, and I can't really state that enough. That when you're fighting things and the music kind of builds and soars, it goes a long ways to making everything feel more epic. There's some real proper cutscenes this time. There's some gorgeous CGI cutscenes at the start. All that stuff really goes a long ways to giving the game some personality. There's a bit more humor injected here. The writing's still a little kind of heavy-handed and cheesy, but at least it's something. Like there's actually some personality that didn't exist before. In terms of quality of life improvements, there's actually a real map this time. The load times are way, way faster, which probably has to do with cutting last-gen support and kind of rebuilding the game strictly for the current gen consoles. I'm actually playing on the PS4 Pro, and it looks excellent. They did a great job adding in a lot more particle effects and stuff that go a long ways into making the shooting feel even better. Just kind of more visual confirmation and stuff that makes it pop a bit more. Graphics have changed a lot in the last few years since Destiny first launched. I wouldn't say it's cutting edge at this point, but it's still there. There's a nice art style there, and it does look good. So you kind of have to keep in mind these are all very early impressions, so maybe the narrative will fall off, but the start is definitely a lot more promising. I can't say in terms of content and stuff how much is actually there. When you're actually exploring and such, there's a lot more to do within the world. There's kind of caves to go through to look for loot. The public events feel a lot more substantial, and actually there's countdown timers that show up on your map as well, so you don't have to go into third-party things to keep track of that kind of stuff. The missions themselves, even the patrol missions, well, they're called adventures this time, kind of seem a lot more meaty. There's more to it. If nothing else, this is a far better base to build off of than Destiny 1 was. I think Bungie's definitely learned a lot from the previous game here, and hopefully they can continue to deliver on this, because if nothing else, they've taken the mechanically excellent shooting and kind of built a real framework around it this time. It's not just go here, shoot this, okay, do it again. There's actually a bit of a story here. It feels like they actually cared. Not that I'm sure that they didn't care about the first one. It translates over much better in this version than it did ever in the first. It can be kind of tough to put my finger on exactly what that is, but it feels like there's a real passion to it this time, and that really goes a long ways. So I think what it kind of comes down to here is, if you didn't enjoy the shooting mechanics of the first Destiny, you won't really enjoy anything here either. If you enjoyed the gameplay of the original one, but kind of felt that there wasn't enough substance around it, or you missed the narrative or kind of the epic feelings, this definitely improves on that, at least in the early going. Hopefully it can keep that up. So if that is the case, I definitely think it's worth giving a try. And if you love the first one, you'll definitely love this one even more. I'll certainly continue to play it over the next week and have some more updates and information for you guys in the next episode here. I think as it stands right now, particularly if you did enjoy the first one, this is definitely worth buying. If you didn't enjoy the first one, I still think it might be worth at least looking into a bit. I can't really wait to dive in further, and that's kind of all I really need to know about a game. So thanks for listening, guys. If you enjoyed what you heard, please subscribe. I can't thank you guys enough. The amount of support I've gotten doing this, I wasn't really expecting to get a whole lot of traction on the first episode there, and I've been blown away by how much support I've gotten. So thank you very much to everyone. Please keep listening. I'll keep making these. Hope you all have a good week. This is Nicholas Ryan and the Praise PlayStation Podcast signing off.
Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway.
Both the intro and outro music are from the song Hole by Chime and Adam Tell. Music provided by No Copyright Sounds.